Webcasting from Southeast Kansas, I'm Jonathan Switzer. This is the Roboblog Chronicles, episode 5.5, the comments thread episode for my little Sentinels production earlier this week. Let's get started here. Brian asks, what made you decide to go for it? Well, the Sentinels has really been on my mind a lot lately, starting with the Shadow Chronicles speculation. Since Shadow Chronicles fed a little off of Sentinels, I figure the sequel will have to feed even more off of it, since it will have to go into certain areas that the Sentinels would have explored, Tyrol, probably some of the Sentinels worlds as well. And then there's the Carl Masek interview that Chris Meadows did a while back. There was some discussion of the Sentinels project there. That got me thinking about it even more. And there is someone I've been talking to via email who I've been talking about Sentinels with. And it was during one of those email exchanges that the idea of doing a dramatic reading of some of the Sentinels scripts came up. And I thought, well, I've got the first 8 scripts, because I have the 2 Malibu Graphics Robotech II The Sentinels script books. So I figured, hey, I'll give it a shot. Brian also asks, so what about female voice actors? Well, if you can find me a female voice actor who can at least do as passable a job as I did, send her my way, and might get to work on some more. So will the Captain JLS version of the Sentinels have special twists to it? Really, like I said, it's directly out of the original scripts by Masek and his team of writers, so no more twists than the original pure version of the Sentinels had to it. Anonymous. My only gripe was that you used the newer modified version of Exodor's stupid hat. Actually, Britai's stupid hat. But what's up with that? Well, first off, I also used the Shadow Chronicles version of Vince Grant, because I really dislike the Sentinels animation version of Vince Grant, and I didn't feel like colorizing comic book art for him. A lot of the grainier looking artwork, the sort of monochromatic artwork, is straight out of the Sentinels comic books. And I used that art wherever I had to. There's no animation art for like the ground-based mobile unit, the GMU, the big carrier you see early on. There's no animation art for Scott Bernard. There's only one good shot of Tesla, so I used comic book art for him. And wherever I could, I used animation art, because that's in color and as close to the Sentinels animation. Well, it is Sentinels animation, so it's as close to the real thing as you can get. But for Vince, I decided to use the Shadow Chronicles artwork. So I decided that since there really isn't one good single shot of Britai in all of the Sentinels animation, I figured, why not use the one good color image from the Prelude to the Shadow Chronicles comics for him? And so I did. Part of it's personal preference, and part of it is just the fact that that was the best color image of micronized Britai that there is. Okay, Darkwater said, I think we have some sort of Vulcan mind meld. I was just watching one of those comics on DVD and thought to myself that someday some fans could do the same for the Sentinels using the comics as source material. What's really interesting is later Admiral DMC McKeever talks about a friend of his. Convinced that the only way to finish the Sentinels was to do it himself, he filmed the comics and added voices, music, and sound effects. I think he only got as far as book 3. I wish I saw the tapes of that. It was a lot of fun to watch. I remember doing the voice of Dr. Lang, but I probably did a half dozen other characters that I don't remember. And adds, one day I'd like to find that tape and put it on YouTube along with his other project, ROBOTECH the Matchbox Saga. I remember hearing about some of this a long time ago. And so, yeah, Admiral DMC McKeever, if you can find that, put that up on YouTube. I would love to see that. Aaron at Digital Cole said, that was very cool. I liked how you moved the images within the frame to simulate motion. As for the audio, yeah, it needs a little work. I use Audacity. It's free and very basic, but it's rock solid. I actually recorded all the dialogue using Audacity. The problem is I don't have a good microphone. I was just using the internal mic on the Macintosh. And so, now here I am, trying to read from the book. And of course I've got the book up in front of my face, so that's, between me and the microphone. So I've got the book off to one side, and I'm trying to look at it this way and read this way. I didn't do that for some of the early stuff, especially like Vince Grant. Vince Grant's dialogue I didn't do that for, but as time went on, you can probably tell it gets a little clearer as time goes on, unless some of the audio mix came out badly. I was also doing this using iMovie, an old copy of iMovie. So the audio mixing on iMovie is really basic. I probably should have done all the audio mixing on Audacity, but then I wouldn't be able to line up the visuals and the audio quite as well. I really just need to learn Final Cut Pro and do it all on something like that. But I don't know. If I decide to do another one of these, it'll be better, and I'll have, it was a learning experience. I think I mentioned that. It was really a learning experience. Arthur Dane and several others ask, will there be more? I don't think so, not anytime soon. Maybe during the summer, if I don't get a part-time job during the summer. My real job is at an elementary school, so I get the summer off, but, I'm probably going to need some money during the summer, so, we'll see how things go. And if I do more, I'm going to need some help, because I was up all night working on it, Tuesday night to Wednesday morning, and then I had to go to work to get this all done in the time that I did. So it was a real slog. If you don't want a comments thread show, and you want this, and you don't mind it, being on Fridays, maybe I might do more. We'll see. MedMap guy suggests subtitles, actual sound effects. I may do with the sound effects that I had, and stuff like a real radio show. Subtitles, probably not. I'd probably just try to make the audio clearer. But sound effects is definitely a good idea. Like I said, I did as many as I could. But iMovie doesn't come with very many. I think that's pretty much all the interesting stuff in here. So I think on that note I will sign off. And I really have no idea what I'm going to do for this week's show. This coming week's show. So it'll be a surprise to you and me. I'll probably put it up on Tuesday just to put some distance between this one and the next. So, Captain JLS signing off. See you Tuesday, I suppose.